Emily. The press release. Oh, Eagle and all.
Like by Joel.
Some of us work today, just saying.
Bills.
Where are you gonna put that train?
Is it?
Or we don't care. A lot of people are to get the language. Get finally the-
Not even a free beer. Not even a free beer.
I might be able to. Or like something.
Stay close to
I wonder, yeah, on the YouTube side. So. I guess, see if I can on the computer.
Time is 7 PM. We'll call this meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Plesky,
Here.
trustee Deltona,
Here.
trustee Domke.
Here.
Trustee Forsythe. Here. Trustee Lanisa. Here. Trustee Pierakowski.
Here.
Trustee Trejo.
Here. We have a quorum. We'll move on to presentation of the prepared agenda. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
Move the.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion carries. We'll now move on to village board public comment. Anyone wishing to provide a comment on a topic or an agenda item may address the village board during the public comment and public hearing segments of the village board agenda by submitting comments in advance using the online form or during the meeting. Madam Clerk, do we have any submitted in advance?
We have two comments submitted. First one is from Jeff Smith. Considering in 2003, library didn't pass. Now that we are in 2004, life is harder for families and the elderly. A lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. Also, kids in school are using laptops, not books as much. The old library would be sufficient. That would save the taxpayers money.
Thank you. And just for the record, the Roselle Public Library District is a separate entity. The Village of Roselle is not putting the referendum on the ballot.
Second comment is from Kristen Smith. Considering in 2003, the library didn't pass. Now that we're in 2004, life is harder for families and the elderly. A lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. Also, kids in school are using laptops, not books as much. The old library would be sufficient. That would save the taxpayer money. How could you do this to the people of Roselle, considering people are losing housing due to high rents and high property taxes?
To reiterate my other comments and our joint public forum that was held last week is available online for the public to watch at their leisure. Are there any other members of the public here today that wish to address the board? You just approach the podium and state your name for the record.
My name's Alex Behrens. As many of you know, I have owned a business here in Roselle for about the last 7 years, and we recently expanded our business out in St. Charles, with a nice cafe out there, something I'd very much like to do in Roselle in the near future. One of the things that we have come into contact with in St. Charles is, of course, a relatively large, or at least larger than Roselle, unhoused population of patrons that come into the cafe. And in some of the conversations that I've had with the elected officials and city administrators within St. Charles, it's always been a little bit of a fight to get them to kind of help out a very public-facing business like mine in St. Charles, kind of have the right message and the right handling for people coming into the cafe. One of the things that they do sort of advise is just if it's the police, call 911 if there's a problem. I've made connections with a number of the officials in different benefit organizations within the Fox Valley area to try to figure out the best way to help these folks when they do come in. But one of the things that I wanted to check with you guys about was, and I know that the mental health counselors that the police department hired a couple of years ago were not specifically tuned for the unhoused population, but I'm sure that there's some amount of work that they're doing there. And one of the things I've been really proud of when I talk to the mayor and a bunch of the alders that are customers of my cafe is I do point to some of the things that Roselle does as a model for how some of the things in a much larger St. Charles could actually be done there. So I'd be curious if at any point you guys are going to be doing any kind of report or check-in to see what the benefit of those two individuals on the police department staff have been to the city. And especially if I'm going to expand the business within Roselle, that's definitely going to be a concern of something that I'll want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing and being compassionate by people that are coming into the cafe, or future cafe, I should say, in Roselle when we hopefully expand our business here. So I'd just be curious if we get an update on that at some point in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we can do a more robust kind of thing probably at our year end, but I'll turn over to Chief Barretto to see if he has any initial takeaways. To bring everyone up to speed, we integrated social workers in our police department a number of years ago. We started off with 1, we've expanded that to 2. A lot of this has been done through grants in partnership with the Bloomingdale Township Mental Health Board, now the newly established Schaumburg Township Mental Health Board. So Chief, any initial takeaways on your part on that program?
Yeah, so our social workers are active in the community. Last year, we had 758 encounters. Some of those involved people who were unhoused. So anytime our officers are called to a scene where somebody is unhoused, we will send the social workers out. They provide them linkage with services in the county. They have a whole list of things that they can provide services to people. So like I said, 758 encounters, they're active. They go out on calls with us all the time, and the program is really successful.
We'll put together some more robust figures in that sense, and we appreciate you being a good acolyte for the community and whatnot. I know when I've interacted with the mayor of St. Charles, she said that she's got some active community business members who like to talk about what Roselle's up to, and so I know we've had some good conversations on that end. So appreciate you representing us proudly in other communities.
But you guys are a model for some of the things they should be doing better sometimes. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Do we have other public comment? If you don't mind, sir, just please come up to the podium and state your name.
My name's Arnold Carlson. I'm regarding the village or the vehicle stickers. Wanted to see if we could get military discount on the vehicle stickers. We get the
Yeah.
military or the disabled vets
Okay.
discount. We get the
Yeah, I think so. That right now, currently, we offer a senior discount on the vehicle stickers. I think one thing that we're obviously trying to do is maybe find a way to.
senior citizen or the senior discounts, but
Correct. We have
military discounts.
nothing to date, so that's something that the board can evaluate. I don't, we're not ready to make a decision on that, but I think you bring a really good thing in front of us. The one thing that I will say we're trying to do is find a way to phase out vehicle stickers overall, so that way, whether you're a veteran, a senior, or just a resident, you don't have to pay it, hopefully, in the near future. So, but I think in the meantime, that's something that hasn't been brought to our attention before that I'm aware of. So we'll definitely take that under advisement and see what we can do.
Okay.
So thank you so much. Is there any other members of the public that wish to address the board at this time? Let the record show none. We'll move on to officials and staff reports. Under mayor's report, before I get to my two items, just want to thank everyone for joining us for our public safety open house. If it's a public safety open house, it's gonna rain and the Bears are gonna lose. So those are the two guarantees I've seen over the last couple of years. So, but I think a fun time was had by everyone. In fact, maybe it'd be better to come out to our thing, because at least you'll walk away happy with popcorn and lemonade, and even a donut. So, but I know that a lot of work goes into that, so I want to thank our departments for putting that on, and I think it's a lot of happy kids and adults for that matter, leaving our complex, at the end of the day, Sunday. Also, we have coming up Founders Fest and its third year. So another great tradition that we've been able to start. And so that will be kicking off at Klaus on October 5th. And so I know this year, there's been a lot of communication going out around also homecoming happening at the same time. And so we've been working very strongly with Lake Park. And I think actually the traffic pattern will probably help expedite people leaving the drop-off area at Lake Park at the end of the day. So we're looking forward to having a great, safe event, hopefully better weather, but I don't want to curse ourselves. On the agenda, though, I have two items for the board's consideration. One is recognition of NICU Awareness Day for September 30th. And so whereas every year more than 500,000 babies are admitted to the neonatal intensive care unit, and whereas premature and newborn health issues are severe problems affecting every segment of our community, whereas families of NICU babies often struggle to find resources, support, and education, whereas NICU Awareness Day provides an opportunity for families whose lives have been affected by the NICU to share their stories, honor dedicated health professionals, others, and know that they're not alone. And whereas the establishment of NICU Awareness Day also provides visibility to research that improves the quality of life for NICU babies and their parents and guardians. Whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about infant prematurity and NICU hospital stays, and be it further resolved that we honor all families that have experienced having a baby in the NICU and health professionals who care for them, and acknowledge Trustee Forsythe and Trustee Trejo for their advocacy for NICU awareness. And so therefore, with the board's consent here shortly, proclaim September 30th, 2024 as Neonatal Intensive Care Unit Awareness Day in the Village of Roselle. So can I get a motion from the board? Second, we'll give that to Dina. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? That motion carries. So happy to do that. And then we also need, I would like the board to consider approving a permit for a firework display at Lake Park High School West Campus on October 4th, 2024 for their homecoming football game.
Moved.
Any discussion on this item? As a reminder, the village board has to authorize in the corporate boundaries firework displays. So with that being the case, could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo. Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa. Aye. Trustee Hurikowski.
Aye.
That motion carries. That is all I have today for my report. Village trustees, any report? Trustee.
I have to give the Polonia Day one more ad. It's next Sunday, and you just wouldn't believe how many people have to work to make this happen. But it's gonna be a lot for kids and a lot for adults, all at Montrose Market on Lake Street from 1 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it'll be a kind of a mini Oktoberfest, only with Polish beer and Polish food. And there's gonna be a DJ and a face painting and a bounce house and a balloon art. And then who knows? But great food over there, and if you can make it, come on out. A lot of sponsors are helping out, and we're expecting over 500 people. So
Thank you so much.
come on out.
Any other trustees have a report tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to village clerk. Village attorney. Village administrator. Treasurer's report.
Good evening. In your packet tonight and the board packet is the August treasurer's report. Revenue of the month for the month of August was sales tax. That was our highest performing, $381,265. However, even though that it was the highest for the month, sales tax is only up 0.1% for the month, and then 3.4% for the year. So we're seeing kind of a lull in our sales tax a little bit and hoping that picks up as the year continues. Page 2 of my report, you'll see some of the revenues are underperforming according to budget. Some of that is timing due to the timing of some of the receipts that we've been receiving. One is the sales tax, as I mentioned, and local use tax. We're seeing that come in lower. I was rereading an IML article before the meeting, and even they say some of it is, they're not sure why it's happening. There were some adjustments by the state, and maybe that has something to do with how they dole out the local use tax. For the year in the general fund so far, revenues are over expenditures by 480,000. Part of that is, of course, due to some of the vacancies. You'll see that on page page 6 of my report, page 5, sorry. Some of it is due to the vacancies that have been going on during the year, and also the timing of hires. Sometimes we budget somebody to be coming in January 1st, and they may not start right away. So you'll see that. Other than that, nothing of note to report. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board for Tom? No questions today. Appreciate it. I know we'll have a rousing conversation soon.
Yes.
We'll move on to unfinished business. First, we have the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine, informational, self-explanatory, or non-controversial in nature and be enacted in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless removed from the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda tonight? Record show none. Tonight, we have presentation and approval of the village board minutes of September 9th, 2024. Adopt a resolution authorizing the village administrator to purchase Microsoft Office 365 licenses and Microsoft Entra plans. President Solutions Incorporated in the amount of $43,411.92. Adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of agreement by and between the Village of Roselle and Structured Solutions LLC for the 2024 sanitary sewer manhole lining in the amount of $57,394.67. And pass an ordinance to declare surplus certain personal property of the Village of Roselle. Is there a motion to approve? There's second. We have a roll call, please.
Trustee Trejo. Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Lisa. Aye. Trustee Pierkowski.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
That motion carries. We'll now move on to community development. Mr. Prokowski, we have your work cut out for you tonight.
Thank you, Mayor Pileski. The perfect day is when I'm losing my voice to have all this on the agenda. I'd like to move to open the public hearing for the pre-annexation of 22 West 015 Irving Park Road, Roselle, Illinois.
Your second. We have a roll call, please.
Trustee Pierkowski.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Forsythe.
Aye.
Denise.
Aye.
Okay, proper notice has been served. It was published in the Daily Herald on September 5th, 2024, and the notice is on file with the village clerk.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for the petitioner? Is there anyone that wishes to speak in favor of the petition? Is there anyone that would like to speak against the petition? The record show none.
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Yes.
This was a person that needed to have water and sewer. This is the corner of Medina Road and Irving. Right?
Correct, to the best of my knowledge.
Just to be.
Yeah, so this is Medina Auto on the corner of Medina and Irving.
Okay.
So they connected to water and sewer 20 years ago. So this is just renewing their agreement.
Yeah, I mean, just, I looked in the audience, some people didn't know what we were talking about.
Okay, I'd like to move that we close the public hearing.
Your second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Pierkowski.
Aye.
Trejo.
Aye.
Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Okay, I'd like to move passage of an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a pre-annexation agreement for the property commonly referred to as 22 West 015 Irving Park Road, Roselle, Illinois.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Pierkowski?
Aye.
Trejo?
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna?
Aye.
Trustee Domke?
Aye.
Forsythe?
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa?
That motion carries.
I'd like to move to open the public hearing for the pre-annexation of 22 West 218 Irving Park Road, Roselle, Illinois.
A second. Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Pierkowski?
Aye.
Trustee Trejo?
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna?
Aye.
Trustee Domke?
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe?
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa?
That motion carries.
Proper notice has been served and was published in the Daily Herald on September 5th, 2024, and that this notice is also on file with the village clerk.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for the petitioner here tonight? Record show none. Is there anyone that wishes to speak in favor of this petition? Let the record show none. Is there anyone that wishes to speak against the petition? Let the record show none.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Just to state, it's kind of a similar situation to the previous one, just a different property. Okay, I'd like to move to close the public hearing.
For a second. Second. We have a roll call, please.
Trustee Pierkowski?
Aye.
Trustee, Trejo?
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna?
Aye.
Trustee Domke?
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe?
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa?
Motion carries.
I'd like to move passage of an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a pre-annexation agreement for the property commonly referred to as 22 West 218 Irving Park Road, Roselle, Illinois.
Second. We have a roll call, please.
Trustee Pierkowski?
Aye.
Trustee Trejo?
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna?
Aye.
Trustee Domke?
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe?
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa?
That motion carries.
Moving on, I'd like to move to open the public hearing for Community Development Block Grant Funding Application for the Mannery Park Stormwater Project.
Second.
We have a roll call, please.
Trustee Pierkowski?
Aye.
Trustee Trejo?
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna?
Aye.
Trustee Domke?
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe?
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa?
That motion carries.
Proper notice has been served and was published in the Daily Herald on September 12th, 2024, and this notice is on file with the village clerk.
Great. I'll have our Community Development Manager, Karen Bricks, give us a presentation.
We were notified earlier this summer by DuPage County that we have 2 census tracts within the village that are eligible for community development block grant funding. It's funding received by DuPage County from the Department of Housing and Urban Development to support areas where they residents have low to moderate income based on census data. It's formulaic. And DuPage County has a program right now it's called Neighborhood Investment to use these funds. One of the areas in town includes Mannery Park, and we have stormwater improvement projects that we would like to apply for grant funding to be constructed at Mannery. There are lots of steps as this is a federal program. So one of these steps is to hold this public hearing tonight to solicit any feedback from the community about it, and then adopt a resolution supporting our application. And then there's some code changes that I can also talk about too.
Any questions from the board for staff on this one? Yes, Trustee Domke.
Yes, just to be clear, Mannery Park is in Roselle.
Correct. It's incorporated in the village of Roselle.
It's just property that's owned by the Medina Park District, so.
It's not unincorporated or anything. It's.
No.
And we've had conversations with the Medina Park District on it. Obviously, if we were to receive funding, we would continue to have more detailed conversations, but they're aware that we're looking to improve the stormwater retention abilities that are there that we currently utilize. And so we involve them heavily in the design process if we're so fortunate to get there.
That helps our residents.
Absolutely. You want to continue on with the code implications?
Yeah, sorry. It's a federally funded program. It's a very lengthy application and we have to include how we meet a bunch of federal standards. And some of those, we meet generally everything except we didn't have anything on record for a fair housing practices. So some communities have plans that they've adopted where they have specific goals to accomplish fair housing and equity within their community. Other communities, like Warrenville, have a simple ordinance included in their code of ordinances, which is what we've presented tonight. Attorney Castaldo was able to draft that for us. It's not going to change anything in how the village currently operates. It just formalizes a lot of informal activities that currently occur, such as code enforcement being notified of, complaints from renters or landlords about certain tenants. And then we did receive an inquiry asking about Airbnb and how this applies. For short-term rentals, those are considered transient occupants. They're not residents. So this wouldn't necessarily apply to those types of uses.
Any questions on the code piece of this? All right, thank you. Is there any member of the public that has a question? Record show none. Any members of the public that wish to make a comment in support? Is there any member of the public that wish to make a comment or a statement against? Record show none.
Are there any questions or comments from a member of the board? Seeing none, I'd like to move to close the public hearing for CDBG funding application for the Mannery Park Stormwater Project.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Pierkowski.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Alpena.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Lanese.
Aye.
That motion carries.
I'd like to move adoption of a resolution supporting the Village of Roselle's application for the DuPage County Community Development Block Grant Program.
Second.
Any discussion? I think it's worth noting this is our first time going for this type of funding. We haven't been eligible before, so the fact that we kind of got through the first phase is pretty significant. So we'll see where this goes. Thank you, staff, for your diligence in trying to evaluate any and all grant opportunities for us, especially when it comes to stormwater management. So that being the case, can we have a roll call?
Pierkowski.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Lanese.
Aye.
That motion carries.
Moving on, I'd like to move passage of an ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the Code of Ordinances of the Village of Roselle, Illinois, Fair Housing Practices.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have a roll call?
Trustee Pierkowski.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Lanese.
Aye.
That motion carries.
And thankfully, Mayor Plesky, I am done.
Thank you so much. We have nothing under administration, fire, or police, but public works. Trustee Trejo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to open up a discussion of municipal improvements change order number 3.
We'll have our Assistant Public Works Director and Village Engineer Kristen Meal presenting.
Good evening. So tonight before you have a proposal for change order number 3 for the municipal campus improvements.
Yeah, maybe get a little closer, but yes.
Okay. So as you know, construction's already underway, but as part of that construction, we did remove the overhang and the string lights that were up at 8,000 miles over the patio that they used. We have, as part of the project, put back in a new patio. However, the lighting is not going to meet the standards that they had before, as well as without some sort of barrier between the patio and the rest of the porch and public area, they cannot serve alcohol out there. So the proposal has 3 parts to it. The first one is for additional exterior mounted lighting, the building, so that we can have proper lighting levels for dining. The second is for fencing around the patio so that they can serve alcohol out there as they did previously. And the third is to seal the concrete against wear and tear from food service spills, things like that. Basically protect our investment in the concrete we put out there. So, as it mentions in the memo, the agreement with them to use the patio was canceled as part of the construction project, and staff does need to renegotiate that with them. So the cost for this work is $16,627.50. That's for all 3 aspects of it, as we mentioned.
And the previous contract with 8,000 miles was $10 a year to use our public space for their patio originally. So obviously we're now providing those services and benefits to them. So I think the way, before we move on to the motion, there's really the three different change orders that we could approve all or a la carte that menu out. And I think also just giving staff a little bit of direction as far as what we might want to recuperate in terms of a rent fee from them. I think it's not egregious to expect something since we've invested in that area that would benefit any business that would come in later on. So I don't know what the conversation of the board is before Mr. Trejo moves on to actual motions. So
You have a number you're thinking of?
I don't know. This is open for board I mean, the work needs to get done first and foremost anyway, right? So I think it comes down to what is the board interested in doing from a change
A
order?
nicer venue now, I would think. But, you know, what kind of number?
Well, are you in support of all three change orders or
You have to finish the project the right way.
is that consensus of this side of the table too?
You're also in control of the lighting, not letting them invent their own lighting.
That is the benefit of us doing that, so.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then we can ballpark it. Do we want to amortize the cost of this over 10 years or over 20 years? Like, how do we want to view it as a means to kind of do it? I know there's other things we're discussing with them about furniture and stuff like that as well. So, I think that we're gonna open up the conversation with them. So that's not something we're gonna vote on today, but certainly we want to make sure that we have enough information to bring back to have a productive conversation.
Sharing the cost maybe, because of, you know, at the beginning of the project, we could have thought of this too. When we knew that we were gonna decimate their existing and recreate a new one for them, you would have thought this would have already been in part of the package. So I would say if we shared it with them,
Okay.
because some of this is our responsibility too for coming up with this additional cost.
Well, I will say they've changed the ownership 3 times since this project started, so I don't think that's on fault of the village. We're dealing with different owners. It seems like at each phase, so, but we can definitely, when you say share the cost, you're saying build that into a rent plan or do a lump sum?
You said amortize it over 20 years. Maybe half of it amortize over 20 years.
20 years seems a little long to me.
Yeah, it's way long for me. I don't take extended warranties anymore. Sorry to say.
Any other thoughts on cost on the other side of the table?
You do
Sorry,
something,
Wayne.
if you do something like a $250 a month, it's about a 5-year payback. And that doesn't seem too egregious to me to make it $250 a month.
Those are just ideas too. We can, anything would come back to the
I'm
board.
I'm just trying to get us a starting point.
So we're saying something more than $10, but maybe somewhere around that and a couple grand a year. Yeah, Lee?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's obviously fine to go above 10. I think it's helpful to understand how much revenue they make off of that seating area, because obviously if they make like, you know, like $1,000, they're not gonna pay $250, I doubt. So I think it's, you know, so I'm okay with up to 10 years, I think is probably the max out, but yeah, that's where I'm at as a starting point.
Okay, well, that helps. So I think we can definitely take that feedback and have that conversation. So with that being the case, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, well, I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute change order number 3 for the municipal campus improvements between the Village of Roselle and Landmark Contractors for the additional work in the amount of $16,627.50.
Second.
Any discussion? We have a roll call, please.
Mr. Trejo?
Aye.
Mr. Domke?
Aye.
Mr. Delapenna?
Aye.
Mr. Forsythe?
Aye.
Lanisa?
Aye.
Mr. Pierakowski?
Aye.
That motion carries.
I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for design engineering services for the municipal campus Phase 2 improvements between the Village of Roselle and Christopher B. Burke Engineering in the amount of $120,100.00.
And then we'll have our village engineer just give a quick overview of what's in scope for the part 2 of the improvements.
Yeah, so a significant portion of the costs associated with this is because of the grant funding, we need to do an environmental review that looks at the area to determine if it's eligible for federal grant funding. We don't anticipate any issues with that, but that's one part of it. As part of the construction, it will be resurfacing the parking lot, replacing sidewalks and curbs that weren't replaced as part of this project currently that need them, as well as replacing the lighting on the remaining municipal campus, including at PD and fire.
And I believe a lighting extension to Maple Avenue on Prospect Street. And all of this cost is reimbursable through our grant that we received, correct?
Correct.
Perfect. Any questions from the board? I guess the only thing I'd also ask, when do we intend this part two? Because I know we're probably experiencing a lot of construction fatigue right now. When would this, if all goes well, start?
And any deadline built into this money?
Our intent is that we get it out for bid in the spring so that light poles and things like that that have longer lead times can be ordered, but then we do construction starting after the taste.
Great, thank you. All right, if there's no other questions.
I gotta
Yeah,
say.
Trustee Domke.
I want to give the Public Works credit for grinding sidewalks now, where there's like to correct them instead of mud jacking them all the time. There was an old paradigm in the village years ago that we had to do the jacking of the concrete. We couldn't do that simpler repair. So I want to give you guys credit for that because it's really helping out and it's cheaper and it's done. You can get more done. So if you guys ever see them having concrete ground so that there's no tripping on their sidewalks, it's because of those folks back there.
Thanks, Wayne. Any other comments or questions? We have a roll call.
No, we need a
Oh,
second.
oh, did we not get a second? I apologize. Can we get a second? Trustee Delapenna, thank you. I jumped the gun on that one. I apologize. So we'll go on to roll call.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa. Trustee Pierkowski.
Aye.
That motion carries.
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much. We'll go to finance. Trustee Forsythe.
Thank you, Mayor Pileski. I would like to move approval of the accounts payable list for September 23rd, 2024 in the amount of $2,528,087.06.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Pierkowski.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
That motion carries.
I would also like to move passage of an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $11,300,000 in taxable general obligation bonds, Series 2024 of the Village of Roselle, DuPage, and Cook Counties, Illinois, for the purpose of financing capital improvements in and for the village, including, but not limited to, the purchase of a parking garage located in the village's East Irving Park Road redevelopment project area, providing for the levy and collection of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on said bonds and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof.
Second.
Mr. Dahl, you're back.
Yes, I am. So as the Avgeris, the Metro 19 project is starting to wind down, we had earlier issued the $3.5 million in bonds to pay for the public improvements that took place. Now this is the $11 million in bonds for the purchase of the parking garage. Doing this now, the project could finish it, well, could reach milestones in December or January. So wanted to get the bonds issued. Now it's actually good timing with some things going on with the rate cuts. But this ordinance sets the parameters for the bond issuance. 11.3 million. The maximum rate is 6.5%. Maturity is on 12/1/2044. And just for the public's knowledge, this will be paid for from increment that is in the TIF districts.
Which in other words is not coming from property taxes that we levy to fund operations, sales tax revenue, or any other thing that we collect. It's just from increment in this specific district.
That's correct. So it is property tax, but it's only for the TIF district. We have Anthony Maselli here from Spear Financial. So if the board has any questions, he'd be happy to come up and answer them. Looks like, according to our schedule, the bond sale would be October 7th, but the closing would be October 28th. We are in the process of issuing an official statement, which is the background of the village and our financing and our demographics. A lot of important things in there, but last Monday, a week ago today, we had a ratings call with S&P. So we should be learning that on Wednesday. They should be issuing their bond rating. We'll provide that to the board when we get that. See what that looks like.
And where we're at right now, just for the public's record, what are we currently rated at from a village perspective?
So right now, we're a AA plus, which is just below the AAA, which is the highest rating you can get from S&P.
Great, thank you. Any questions from the board? Mr. Rumpke?
6.5% right now.
So that's the maximum rate. That's the maximum that would be.
That sounds like a great segue to have our resident expert come up to the podium to discuss kind of the rate market and what's going on right now and why we maybe worded things and what we won't hold you to, but what's your best guess we might land at in October?
No, my pleasure. And good evening, everybody. So yes, as mentioned, 6.5 is the max rate as set forth in the ordinance. We do expect to be well below that. Looking at the market right now, based on our last run and the amortization all the way out to 2024, which coincides with the end of the life of the TIF increment, we were looking at a rate of about 5.12%. So we're well below the 6.5. I'll say it's been a little bit of a journey in terms of interest rates on this particular transaction. It obviously started all the way in 2022. We delayed the taxable portion because the funding wasn't needed at the time. And then we hit 2023 and interest rates shot up. We got to a point, these will be taxable bonds, so they're indexed off of US Treasury rates. We got to a point in 2023 where the 10-year Treasury got all the way up to 4.95, 5%, right in that range. We're now down to about 3.75. We hit a low for 24 just before the Fed rate cut, actually, and then rates came up a little bit after the Fed rate cut. There's been some sentiment that the rate cut will improve the economy and rates will come up. And that's hasn't come up much. Things are stable. We find ourselves in kind of a good position here. The one big thing we have coming up, though, is a presidential election, which could add volatility to the market. So right now we're timing this so we can get into the market with the current rates we've seen come down drastically since we've started looking at this project. And before the presidential election may add some volatility.
Other questions from the board?
Sometimes the presidential election brings them down.
Absolutely. And that's why I said
January.
it's not that it's going to add higher or lower rates, but it could add a question mark that we may not want to. It's a bird in the hand kind of situation I think we have right now.
We have the market at home, not in Village Hall, right? So try to find that sweet spot. Perfect. All right.
How many layers, is it 5 levels or 4 levels on our parking garage?
5 levels of the parking garage. And that's also, and the village owns that as an asset, which is a part of the Metro 19 development. What's great there is that those will be publicly available for Metro commuters to rent daily. And then the apartment leasers will actually be leasing the apartment or the parking spots back from the Village of Roselle. So we get revenue from not only Metro commuters, but also from the apartment complex itself. So that way that also gives the ability to flex up or down depending on what their usage is. So it gives us some guaranteed revenue, which is great to help contain this new expensive asset that we're about to have and learn a lot about parking garages because they do cost money. So, Trustee Trejo.
So one of the things I was going to ask about was the re-rating, but if you could speak to it, or either one of you could speak to it, do you know like what your best guesstimate is for like the delta between like the interest rate for a AA plus and a AAA plus?
Yeah, so the highest rating being a AAA, you're one notch below that. The change typically 10 to 15 basis points. It depends on the level of interest rates. When interest rates come down, that margin between rating categories shrinks, and when interest rates increase, you tend to see it kind of expand. So right now, 15 basis points, we would call it as an estimate.
Okay.
Roughly for a AAA to a AA.
Got it. Any other questions?
Just as a rule of thumb, $11.3 million gets you a 5-level garage. So if you're gonna later on build a 2-level garage, you have some kind of a rough estimate of what that might be costing.
I would say to some extent, but there's a lot of still costs no matter what. So yeah, and whatnot, but.
Okay, you've got other ideas maybe in the future and we should.
I think it also comes down to the square footage too. So keep that in mind too. So. All right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Is there any other discussion from the board on this item? Checking once, checking twice, and I did get a second on this one. So, could we get a roll call, please?
Trustee Forsythe?
Aye.
Trustee Trejo?
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna?
Aye.
Trustee Domke?
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa?
Aye.
Trustee Pierakowski?
Aye.
That motion carries. We'll now move on to new business. We'll receive an update on a Veterans Recognition Program honoring Roselle veterans with street banners around the Veterans Day holiday. I don't know if we could have squeezed more veterans in that title if we could tried. Yeah, it's very clear. Our community relations coordinator unfortunately is under the weather today, so we're gonna have our second best person present this, our Assistant Village Administrator, Brian Jonas.
Yeah, I can't take credit for the memo or the graphic in front of you, but did want to get board alignment on a Veterans Day recognition program for our banners that currently exist in the downtown area. So we're looking at doing about 15 banners in recognition of past and present Roselle veterans. Around Veterans Day, it aligns a little bit better with Public Works operations, kind of before the winter holiday season, where they switch out for holiday decorations, and then also doesn't compete with other banner programs in the area like Bloomingdale's that's on Memorial Day. So staff has already kind of put together a link that would be used for the application for people to submit a photo and kind of a description of their veteran. And then based on kind of the demand, we'd kind of go through kind of the selection process and just see if the program remains static in the area that you can see attached to the memo, or would be brought back in future years to maybe expand the program along different areas of the downtown, depending on size and variation of our banners, how they kind of change throughout specific areas. So we'd look to kind of start this application as soon as possible, have the deadline in mid-October, go through that selection process, and then have them up all the way through November before Thanksgiving.
Any questions from the board? Of this year, yeah, of this year.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, Trustee Domke.
you approach the American Legion Hall and let them know about this program too. They might.
I think they're in the audience right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were incognito before.
Yeah, I think once we have, if the board gives consent to move forward with it, we'd provide the link and try to get it in their weekly newsletter blast. We would market it on our end as well, so we can catch everyone within our current community that's active, and anyone that might have had family members who since passed away and might not be as active, so we can kind of hit both.
A couple of people that have passed away recently were in favor of this, and they'd be really happy to see that we were doing this. Really nice.
I think the one thing to keep in mind is we don't have large banner space. We only have pedestrian banners. So they will be a bit smaller than the ones that people are more accustomed to seeing, but it is a way to at least to honor them. And I think the great thing is Veterans Day is for all veterans. And I know we blanket a lot of these holidays in general, but Memorial Day is really for those that are gone. And so I think it's very fitting in my mind to do this in November instead of May, just personally speaking. So, but other questions or comments from the board? All right, consent to move forward as staff is presented. All right, we'll get that going. So get your keyboard warriors ready to go to submit as many applications as you can, so. All right, that concludes our new business. We do have a second opportunity for public comment. Is there any member of the public that wishes to address the board at this time? Let the record show none. Is there any other business for discussion only from the board tonight? Seeing none, in that case, I would like to entertain a motion from the board to convene executive session for the purposes of discussing collective bargaining. No final action will be taken and we'll be adjourning from the meeting.
Second.
Thank you so much. Is there a roll call?
Trustee Lanisa? Trustee Delapenna?
Aye.
Trustee Domke?
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe?
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa? Sorry, Pierakowski?
Aye.
Trustee Trejo?
Aye.
That motion carries. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night.